We have an attendee with their hand up, Beat Whirl. But first, I'd like to read the comment from Freed in the live stream, who says, was this virus enabled to come into existence by the war conditions that was prevalent up to now? When we have established peace, will this may have enough field strength to conquer the virus?
Can you repeat that?
Okay, so he starts out with, was this virus enabled to come into existence by the war conditions that was prevalent up to now? And when we have established peace, will this have enough field strength to conquer the virus? In other words,
maybe
aggressive tendencies as humanity, if we can settle that out and establish peace within ourselves, will that be enough to conquer the virus?
in a way, this is how it's done in the universe. We always come across the viruses. Viruses are packs of energies we use. And sometimes we have to find a way to use the structure to the benefit of the life of the man, or creatures, or the soul, or whatever you call it, energy pack. One of the best ways is to convert to the energy dimension and the physicality, that it cannot exist in it or be rejected out of it. This is why we pushed with the teaching of soul, where this entity at the moment in the physical body of the man he takes hold, he sits in. But if you can extend the energy of your inner being to it, the physicality doesn't exist. Now will exist within the field of what you call the field of a bigger field. Then it becomes, would be rejected, or becomes part of us as an energy pack that has no harm. Then we can go back to physicality, because in a way we have digested it. Mankind has different choices, but you have to decide.
And who decides that? Does the
Something
soul
in the
decide
energy
to
center.
create that, or is it the physicality that creates the field?
Is physicality has failed to do so. That's why it's surrendered to it. As I was told by our Iranian team, can you please don't talk about the soul? It's very sensitive here. We said we can't stop because people have to understand. But in essence, we can use the energy of the virus to become part of it. Or it make it as part of us as an energy supply. I was explaining in a very simple way how some of us surrender to the virus because we receive the energy of the virus that elevates our soul to the level of not wanting to be. In reality, if you think of it in a deeper way, if this virus sits in your lung and releases so much energy from your lung that in tuning with the energy of the soul, it feeds to it and the body decides to depart. The maturity and the level of the soul from the energy captured from this virus matures the level that the soul needs do not need to exist in the physical dimension. This we've seen a few weeks ago, but most of you are not ready to understand it. In a way, we invite the soul of or energy of the grown-up, and in the process of conversion, as it calcifies and builds up its energy, it is not an entity on its own. Now it creates an energy which can link the way we die. This is the reason they die. It links to and releases energy to mature, to elevate the soul of the man, then the physicality doesn't exist anymore. Instead of living 40 years to reach, or 60 years, or 100 years to reach the maturity of the soul that it separates from the physicality, it receives that energy from the virus. And in a way, that's why we see so many deaths. In a way, this could be, in a way, large part of it, yet is the reason. When you create condition of separation of the soul from physicality, it needs to reach to a level that it can depart. It takes us 60 years to accumulate that energy to the point of the departure. Now it receives it in one pack. Because there's a reality which I wanted to explain a long time ago, maybe mankind is ready for it to understand. As we said, with the circulation of the blood, I made you all British, you're all blue-blooded. When the virus takes a cell and converts it to its dimension of physicality, it has a soul. And that soul, in a dimension of existence, through the soul of physicality, reaches the environment of the brain of the man, and in transformation feeds the soul because it's of the higher order. And in that process, literally matures the soul. And the two cannot exist. Which is where the soul of physicality feeds the soul of the man to the point of maturity that you don't need to be here 60 years or 80 years. I do it in 8 days for you. In the way infants mature very fast at the point of the birth. If he has managed to lock into the calcium strength in the energy pack, most probably has managed within the structure to reach the soul of the cell too. And the soul of totality, after the limitation of numbers, will reach the strength that reaches, crosses the brain into the soul. Then the question is, to the soul of those who departed, asked for it, or what I call rapid departure.